Hello and welcome to our how-to video on the role utilization in mission control. The role utilization report is a reporting feature in mission control that takes into account time logs and holidays, and it provides you the full picture of the utilization for each selected role or team. And in addition to reporting on the utilization of each role, it will also allow you to report on the billable performance and the scheduled performance. This is tracked by the billable target field. For example, if author has an hours per week value of 40 hours and a billable target percentage of 80%, then his billable target would be 32 hours. In some situations, a customer may wish to have the flexibility of reducing the billable target hours from one week to another based on whether the role has been assigned to a specific action that fall outside of their usual target. For example, working on a support issue as part of an ongoing contract. To support this requirement were actions that should be excluded from the billable hours target. A field called the exclude from billable capacity is available on the project, milestone, action, and time log objects. This exclude from billable capacity checkbox has been added to key pages throughout the system, such as the create actions page, the add action, time log, timesheet, and Gantt chart. And finally, you also have the option to export all of the raw data from the role utilization report and report on it separately, as well as share it with external users. Let's have a look. The role utilization report is accessible from the standalone tab and from the management pad in Mission Control console. So for the standalone tab, you can add it to your tabs at the top over here and access it from here. And for the Mission Control console, you can go into the management pad and access it via the view report button over here. So when you have the role utilization open, you've got three sections over here: report settings, analytics, and report details. All three of these sections are collapsible and they're persistently remembered to how you opened it last. So if I leave this open, next time I access it again, this should be open for me. So with report settings, you've got a few options that you can adjust and have your data filtered to your requirement. With filter by, you've got three options: master team, team, and role. Team and role would allow you to report on individual roles, as it only has the option for group by on role. And with master team, you have the option to group it by both of these, so you can choose to report on individual roles or the whole master team as a group. And the difference in master team and team is that with master team, it will only report on roles that have the master team set as the team that is specified over here. So I can choose Australia over here, and it's only going to show me roles on that team that have the master team set to Australia or to US. The start and end date are the reporting periods that you want to use the role utilization report on. So I'm going to set this to the 1st of August and end of September. With view, you've got the weekly view and the monthly view, so you can choose that accordingly, and you can hit go over here. With report settings over here, you've got a few options that you can choose to display or not display. So you've got utilization information, you've got billable performance information, and the scheduled performance information. And we'll have a look at how those values are calculated in a moment. So you've got a few breakpoints as well for each one of those settings, and you can adjust that accordingly to your requirements. And now we can go ahead and run this report. So these two sections will be updated accordingly to what the settings you've set in the report settings. And over here you've got three graphs here: the utilization graph, total hours, and billable hours. With the utilization graph, this will show you the total hours per role or per master team, and that's broken down by category. That is the billable, non-billable, holiday, and the exclude from billable capacity. With total hours, this will show you the sum of total hours divided by the sum of hours per week. And with billable hours, this will show you the sum of billable hours completed divided by the billable target hours. Let's expand the report details section. So since we set this to group by roles using the master team, it's showing us each one of those roles, and at the bottom you've got a grand total for all three of these roles here. So the way the hours per week value is calculated is based on the it first picks up the role availability records for that role, and it would update those values here accordingly. If there are no role availability records, then it will refer to the hours per week field on the role record, and if there are no hours per week field on the role record, it will display 0 over here. It will also display 0 when the role's created date is greater than the reporting period. So that's the hours per week field. Then the total hours, which is the sum of all the hours logged for that week, and this includes all types of time logs. That's the billable, exclude from billable capacity, non-billable, and holiday hours. So up next is the total hours field, which is the sum of all the hours logged for that week or month, and that includes the billable, exclude from billable capacity, and non-billable and holiday hours. Then we've got billable hours completed. This is the sum of all billable hours logged for that week, where the exclude from billable capacity is false. Similarly, the exclude from billable capacity is again sum of all billable hours logged for that week, except where the exclude from billable capacity is true. Then you've got non-billable hours completed. So this is sum of all non-billable hours logged for that week. Then you've got holiday hours, which is the sum of all holiday hours taken from that week. And you've got utilization, which we had enabled from the settings. So with utilization, it calculates the total hours divided by the hours per week. So that's the total hours divided by the hours per week. And then we had those breakpoints that we had set. Those colors will be updated accordingly based on the utilization of that role. Up next is the billable capacity. This formula calculates the hours per week minus the exclude from billable capacity. Then you've got billable target percentage. So the role record has a billable target that you can set that the role is meant to complete, the percentage of hours. So then you've got the billable target hours, which is the formula that calculates the billable capacity times the billable target. Then you've got the billable performance, which is the formula that calculates the billable target hours divided by the billable capacity. And finally, you've got two more fields that are not shown here right now, but that's because those have been excluded from the view over here. So that's the total hours scheduled, a sum of all hours scheduled for that week, and the scheduled performance, which is the formula calculating the total hours divided by the total hours scheduled. Now let's have a look at how we can work with the exclude from billable capacity. So we've got Colin and Umar having some exclude from billable hours. So let's log some time for Arthur and include that in over here. So the exclude from billable capacity field is available from a number of different pages, like the create actions page, the add action button, the time log on the whiteboard and the trackpad, timesheet, the Gantt chart for the milestone and action, and the contributor record as well. So when you log time, let's take the log time over here. You have the exclude from billable capacity field. You can just mark this as true, and it'll update that accordingly. So for now, we're going to do that for Arthur, and you can select any project over here. Just need to make sure the date is within the reporting time period. So I'm going to set this date to be on the 20th, and then we can say 5 hours that will be excluded from billable capacity. And now we can close this and then run the report again. And we can see those hours have been taken into account, and his billable performance would be updated accordingly. And finally, you have the option to export role utilization reports using the CSV button over here. And the CSV file will be downloaded, and you can choose to report on that data accordingly. That covers the role utilization report in Mission Control. If you have any questions, you can reach out to us via support tickets or through the email mentioned here. We have a lot of resources like our very detailed user guide. We also have a lot of how-to training videos on our website. We have a searchable knowledge base as well as a learning portal. That's all for today, and have a good day.